What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Baltimore Ravens Rundown. My name is Joey Petersen. It is Wednesday evening, so that could only mean one thing, and that is we are live right here on the channel. We got an hour of awesome coverage coming up for each and every one of you guys. 4 segment today, usually a 3. Today we're going to rock 4 of them because we got the Monday off. Nice little holiday weekend to have some fun, rest a little bit. So, of course, we got to have you guys covered even when we are off. We got to do an extra cut in there, but that just means more content for us to break down on today's show. Up first, today's news and rumors, and it is all about the big-time moves that Jesse Minter just made, finalizing this Ravens coaching staff. After that, we'll go to our third mock draft of this offseason. I make a pick in the first round. We haven't made yet, and a little bit of a hint, we got some more trades in that first round. After that, your turn to ask me some questions. Our live Ravens mailbag. I turn my show into the hands of the flock. You guys let me know. Anything you want to hear, put it down below in the comment section. And then last up, Fox Sports labeled the top 100 free agents, also gave some predictions on where they will land. Some Ravens re-signing, some Ravens leaving, some new faces coming in. I'll tell you all about what Fox Sports predicted as we round out today's live show. Speaking of the Baltimore Ravens, though, in 2026, how many games will the Ravens win next season? You let me know your answer down below in the comment section. Right now, the fact that you're not playing a first-place schedule, the fact that you get to play, I believe, the NFC and AFC South, 2 of the weaker divisions on each side of the National Football League, is it crazy to say 11 wins? Like, I get it. It's going to be year 1 of Jesse Minter, but, like, I really, really like this staff he's assembled. You still have the tentpole pieces of Kyle Hamilton, Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry. You're just about to have a ton of awesome draft picks roll in because you got the 14th overall pick in the draft. And if you look historically how Eric DeCosta has done with that singular selection, you can have some confidence with how things will go in late April. So my guess right now is 11. Maybe I could be even convinced for 12. 13-4 says Cards Rundown. Welcome into the show. Glad to see you. AMLG says 11. Scott says 11. Ollie Dago says 14. Gus Bus says 13-4. Nico gives me 11. Lisa, I freaking love that out of you as well. To you, Kimberly, with 17-0. I love that. Shout out. Flair saying 14-3. Bierman saying 13-4. 6 games, says William. 1 game, says Shawn. Bryce says 9-10. Big K saying 14-3. I think anywhere from 11-12. That's kind of what I'm going with. Real quickly, before we get to, let's get this super chat first, JD. We got a $5 coming in from my main man, Yee Kaw. Hey, Joey, is there someone in the draft you don't want that will make you flip tables if they do draft him? What an unbelievable question from my main man, Yeecaw. The funny thing is, Yeecaw, and I'm going to put this in the script, super chat question first. Super chat question. Okay, make sure we get that when we get to the mailbag. Yes, there is. And the funny thing is, I just asked this to my coworker yesterday who runs our Dolphins channel. I asked him, hey, who is your nightmare draft pick for the Miami Dolphins? Because if you remember last year, Shamar Stewart was my nightmare draft pick for Baltimore, and look how right your boy was. Just because somebody can run fast in their underwear does not mean that they're going to be able to sack the quarterback in the National Football League. My flip tables pick this year is probably Peter Woods. And I don't even think I'd be as mad as I would be if it were, Shamar Stewart last year. That one actually enraged me to even talk about and discuss. But Peter Woods is mine as of right now. I think he's a freak athlete, but just no production in this last year. Like an absolute drop off of a cliff. But we'll know a little bit more about nightmare draft targets after the combine because that is when a lot of these guys start to get a little bit overinflated. Those RAS scores come in, their 40 times come in, and everybody starts to drool over what these guys could be, even though they just decide to ignore what they have been when they've actually been playing football. Jesse Minter is off to a hot start. And if you are excited about the future, make sure to go to chatsports.com/Minter to get our Minter is Coming t-shirts and hoodies, up close look at the design right there. You got the hoodie. Hoodie was my favorite one. I mean, T-shirts are great. Same color, same design. I just am more of a hoodie guy. Anyway, chatsports.com/mentor. JD is going to put that link in our live chat right now. If you guys have not gotten one of those, go ahead and hit it up. It'll take you right to our chatsports.shop kind of website. And if you get the T-shirt and the hoodie, you can save $10 on your order. Chatsports.com/mentor is where you need to go. If you have not got one yet, make that change right now and snag yourself one before they are all gone. First merch ever on the Ravens Rundown. Make sure you take advantage of it. We have our mailbag coming later. We already discussed a little bit. Already got a great question in from Yeehaw. I see Cards Rundown already got a question in. Attendance Squad already got a question in. So did Jacko. Man, you guys know exactly what to do in these live shows. So did Dylan. Use hashtag Ravens in the chat, or if you want to guarantee your spot on a mailbag, go ahead and super chat. In our third segment, the last half of that show, we will be answering your questions. If you want to know anything about free agency, about the draft, about contract extension, salary cap, anything you want to know, we can get you covered. I'll get that answered. And it's your chance to get on our program today. Are you excited for the NFL draft? We just mentioned it, talking about the mailbag. If you are, do me one big favor. Hit that thumbs up button and like today's video. We are sitting at 22 likes right now, and we cannot start our first segment until we get to 35 likes, okay? We just need 13 more people to hit that thumbs up button. It's free, and that's pretty much it. Like, I don't know what else I could need to say to convince you to like the video, because it does not cost you a dime, and on the flip side, it actually helps us out a ton. Helps tell the YouTube algorithm that you're liking our content. Then it pushes it out to our Ravens fans. And then we grow the flock. And then everybody's happier. So hit that thumbs up button for me. 23 likes. We need 12 more. Now 24 likes. We need 11 more. Ladies and gentlemen, do not make me hold my breath until we get there again. Because the last time I did that, I almost passed out. Okay? We're less than 10 away. We're at 26 with 70 people in here. Trade back and take TJ Parker. Not a bad thought. I don't love TJ Parker as of right now. Like, I think the value would be better to just draft a different edge rusher in the second round than to get him in the first. But if you trade back and, like, he's a guy that falls into your lap, then, yeah, I would not be against it. We are 6 likes away from 35. Now we are 5 likes away. Think we have enough assets to move in the top 5, get an alpha pass rusher? Yes, I do, but I don't think they will. If you know anything about Eric DaCosta, they usually take the, I don't want to say more safe route, but like they rarely are the trader uppers, and more likely they're going to be ones that trade down. Joey, what Ravens live stream did we have the most views in super chats? Ooh, like in this last season? It's a good question. I honestly think, funny enough, it might have been week 1 against Buffalo. Because after that, I know views-wise, that was the most. Then after that, they started sucking, and a lot of people stopped tuning in, unfortunately. All right, we got there. It's time to get into our first segment. Reminder of what we got coming up on today's show. Today's news and rumors, all about the coaching staff. Then my mock draft, Ravens mailbag, and we're going to round this thing out with some free agency predictions from Fox Sports. It's going to be a good one. So glad you guys are joining us. Make sure to lock in, because we got some great content coming up for each and every one of you. We ready to roll, JD? All right, first segment coming at you right now. It took just about 3 weeks, but it is finally done. Of course, I am talking about your Baltimore Ravens coaching staff being finalized. Now, there might be some additions here or there with some assistants and quality control coaches and things of that nature, but of all the position coaches, of all the guys who will be running meetings in the summer, in the fall, who will be in charge of a massive portion of this football team, all of those moves are done. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, I have really, really loved what Jesse Minter has done over the past 21 days. I think he's added a lot of really, really great coaches to this staff. Which staff do you like better? I get it. Like, this new one's only been together for like 3 weeks. But let me know down below if you like the new one better, like the video. But if you like the old one better, go ahead and drop a comment in the comment section. Matt Zenitz is the one that broke the news just a couple of hours ago that the Ravens are expected to hire Keary Colbert as wide receivers coach. Sources tell CBS Sports former NFL wide receiver was the Broncos wide receivers coach the last 2 seasons. Before that, he was the wide receivers coach at college level, Florida and USC. We're actually going to go prior to Florida and USC, which is where we're going to all start with this, because I believe 2013 is the most important talking point, because that is when Jesse Minter and Keary Colbert crossed paths at Georgia State. From there on, he went to learn under Nick Saban, be an offensive analyst for the Alabama Crimson Tide. Don't know for sure if they did, but I think it's a pretty good guess they won a national championship from 2014 to 2015. Then 2016 to 2021, he was at USC, first as a quality control coach, then a tight ends coach, and then last as a wide receivers coach. That's then where he went to Florida, had that same exact role there, and then has spent the last 3 seasons with Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos as their wide receivers coach. Let's talk about USC, because if you need proof of his ability to develop talent at the wide receiver position, I think his time with the Trojans is perfect proof of that. Michael Pittman Jr., Amon-Ra St. Brown, Drake London, 3 guys who were in his wide receiver room when he was there. 3 guys he developed to be great talent, high draft picks, and then so far have great careers in the National Football League. I'm not going to put it all on Keary Colbert, but I think it'd be crazy to think he didn't play a decent part in their development and kind of what they've turned into right now. Cortland Sutton had a good year this past year. He was the Denver Broncos wide receiver 1, 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns, 74 catches. But I think the thing that stood out to me most when I looked at Broncos wide receivers was the jump from Troy Franklin from his rookie year to his technical sophomore year with the Denver Broncos. He almost tripled his amount of catches, tripled his amount of yards, had over 1.5 yards more on average, tripled his amount of touchdowns. Like, the jump that this dude took was absolutely massive, and it attributed in a big way to their ability to consistently move the football offensively. You know who played a really big part in that? Keary Colbert did. I also like Declan Doyle being able to surround himself with some familiarity. Like, those guys crossed paths together in 2023 and 2024 with the Denver Broncos before Doyle left to Chicago to work under Ben Johnson. And this wide receiver room is going into this year with a ton of question marks surrounding it. You got Zay Flowers. I think the question mark surrounding him is he a wide receiver 1? So far, through his first 3 seasons, I think the answer to that is no, but it's still debatable. DeAndre Hopkins, question mark around him is he going to be back? Rashad Bateman, his question mark, is he good at football? We do not know. I don't think he was utilized in the best ways in 2025, but I don't think anybody can argue that even when he got the ball thrown to him, that he was a good football player, at least one worth the $12 million extension he got in the summer. Devontae Walker, for some reason, doesn't play. Hopefully that changes under Declan Doyle. And then Western Wallace, both those guys were just kind of non-factors. I do believe that there's an outside chance they go wide receiver in round 1. I don't think they need to. I don't think they will. Like, I wouldn't bet on it. But I also see a world where at 14, Mekhi Lemon, Jordan Tyson, maybe even a world where Carnell Tate drops that low, and it's just one of those situations where Baltimore cannot pass it up. But Keary Colbert is your new wide receivers coach, and I want you to grade that higher for me. Give me an A, B, C, D, or F for that move down below in the comments section. Weigh in with your answer and let me know what you think. That was not the only coaching staff move that was made today. Jeff Zrebiak tweeting out around 2 p.m. Central Time. The Ravens are expected to bring in Ben Kotwice. Probably didn't say that right, but that's okay, Ben. You'll forgive me. As a senior assistant on special teams, 51 years old, served as Rams interim special teams coordinator for part of the season in 2025. Also has been a special teams coordinator for the Commanders, Jets, Broncos, and Falcons. Now, the reason they did this is because last night, we made a short over it, we got the news that Anthony Levine is going from, co-cap, a guy who was an absolute special teams ace and was on this staff, to now being the special teams coordinator. I really liked that move at the time. Loved it last night, love it again today, but also, he's really, really young. He's never been a special teams coordinator before. And Ben's coming in here, been a special teams coordinator for a handful of teams around the league. He knows what it's like to be in that position. He's got a ton of experience. So what he is on this staff is just some guy to be a helping hand to Anthony. some guy that he can go to when he's got some questions about the role and maybe some questions about what to do in a certain situation. And that's what I think is a really cool thing of what Jesse Minter has done over the past couple of weeks is he has assembled a coaching staff that is full of a lot of young guys with some college experience, young NFL experience, and a lot of older guys that have been in this league for decades. A lot of older guys that might be coming in as a pass game coordinator offensively, but have been offensive coordinators in the past. And I think that's going to be really beneficial because at the core of it, like at the top of it, this is a really, really young group with Jesse Minter, Declan Doyle, and, of course, Anthony Weaver. The offensive side of the football, your OC is Declan Doyle, senior assistant Joe Lombardi, quarterbacks coach Israel Woolfork, running back coach Eddie Faulkner, wide receiver coach Keary Colbert, offensive line coach Dwayne Ledford, offensive line assistant Shawn Flaherty, tight end coach Zack Grossi, quality control Patrick Kramer, and pass game coordinator Marcus Brady. On the defensive side of the football, Anthony Weaver is your DC. Defensive line coach is Lou Esposito. Offensive linebackers coach Harlan Bauer. Tyler Santucci is your inside linebackers coach. Mike Mickens is on the defensive backs with Miles Taylor being his assistant. PJ Volker from the Naval Academy is your safeties coach, and the assistant is Charlie Gumman, of course, with Rick Minter being a consultant. And then the special team staff finally got rounded out. You had Anthony Levine, Randy Brown, and Ben Kotwice rounding out that group. Are you excited about this staff? Because I personally really, really am. I'll actually talk a little bit more about that this weekend, I believe on Saturday. But if you're pumped up about this staff, do one big favor. Hit that thumbs up button and like today's video. Something else you should be pumped up about is our friends over at Ethos, the sponsor of today's show. And as you know, my wife Kennedy and I got married almost 2 years ago. I imagine we'll maybe buy a house, maybe start having kids sometime soon. If something were to happen to me, the last thing I want the people I love to worry about is being able to pay the bills. So I trust Ethos to keep them protected. After watching someone close to me go through loss, I saw how quickly grief can turn into financial stress. That experience changed how I think about protecting my family. Life insurance isn't about expecting the worst, but it's about making sure the people you love are supported no matter what, and that's why I recommend life insurance through Ethos. Ethos makes getting life insurance fast and easy. 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. There's no medical exam. You just answer a few simple health questions. You can get up to $3 million in coverage. Some policies are as low as $30 a month. Ethos has 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot with over 3,000 reviews. Help protect your family with life insurance through Ethos. Get your instant free quote at ethos.com/NFL Daily. That is ethos.com/NFL Daily. Application times and rates may vary. The NFL draft is just about 2.5 months away, so I'm going to start doing this from time to time, doing a little bit of a draft spotlight, and our first one is going to be on Olaivavega Ioane out of Penn State, but we're just going to call him Vega because it's a little bit easier to say than Olaivavega, and also that's his nickname. I'm not just giving him that. Me and him are boys. No, we're not. PFF grades, 79.9 this past year with the Nittany Lions. Pass blocking is his thing. He almost scored the 90s with an 87.1. Run blocking, 78.6, and 0 sacks allowed, 1 penalty in 614 snaps. 0 hits, 4 pressures in total. Like, this dude was an absolute anchor on the interior of Penn State's offensive line. And he is not the reason that they had such a disappointing season, I promise you that. He's got a lot of pros, right? Pass protection is the very top of the list. One of the reasons he is so good in pass protection, he's got really low, really tight hands, a strong anchor, like the base of his legs. He is so hard to push backwards with a bull rush. And his grip strength is really, really impressive as well. Once he has a hold of you, once he grabs onto you, it is so hard for those defensive linemen to get off of that. The biggest con, I think the biggest question mark, is his run blocking, is his ability to operate in space, which I feel like probably gives a little bit of Vietnam flashbacks to Ravens fans because we've been used to Daniel Faalele whenever he's in space looking like he's a kid that's lost his mom in the mall. Like, it's absolutely unbelievable. And the last thing we want to do is have to go through that again. So, I think there's a lot to like about him, but that doesn't mean he's a perfect prospect, right? And if you're getting at about 14, this is going to be a guy you need to feel solid that's going to give you 3 or 4 years of really, really great play. If you're drafting someone in the top 14 of the NFL draft, you're expecting that guy to be a second contract type player. A little bit more scouting report on Vega. Pass protection is his calling card. It translates immediately to Sundays. 0 sacks, 0 hits, only 4 hurries across 613 snaps in 2025. Tells you everything about his ability to keep quarterbacks clean. While he wins with power at the point of attack, his work on the move shows real limitations that cap his ceiling and outside zone schemes. Lateral quickness is below average and shows up against twitchy 3 techniques who can cross his face. Now, the reason that I would take the risk on Vega Ioane is because of your new offensive line coach, Dwayne Ledford. He is the best in the business. I believe he was Jesse Minter's best hire on this coaching staff. And he's one of those guys who his best ability, is scheming up the run. It's the reason he is your run game coordinator. So if you draft a guy that's having trouble blocking the run, might have trouble in space or question marks about his ability to operate in space, pairing him with Dwayne Ledford is probably the best thing that could happen for him. Who should the Ravens draft at 14? Let me know down below in the comment section. Give me your take. And while you're down there in that comment section, you'll find my social media. Make sure to give me a follow as well. Twitter, Instagram, at Joey Petersen 8 on both of those platforms. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Daily Ravens videos right here on the Ravens Rundown. And with that, we'll see you next time. All righty, 1 segment down, 3 more to go. Little bit of news on the Ravens coaching staff. Leon says, you better be trying to get right. They better be trying to get this right on this team because they played like shit last year. Couldn't have said it better myself, Leon. Kimberly, I want mine. Get him at number 14. I don't know how we extended Mark Andrews. Not likely. I hope Mark gets traded. Me too, Couch Eater. I'm excited about watching the NFL draft on TV on April 23rd through 25. Kimberly, I hope you don't watch the draft on TV. I hope you watch the draft right here on the Ravens Rundown. We'll be live for it. Makai Lemon says ice. I like it. I like it. I like it. Well, not that ice, but you guys know what I'm saying. Make sure to get on the show by using hashtag Ravens. It looks, JD, like we've already got a ton of people getting those questions in. Honestly, like keep getting them in so that way that JD has more things to choose from. But you guys have been crushing it so far. And Donovan and Ice, just ask those questions again and use hashtag Ravens for a chance to get on the show. We got Christian and Malley, my main man. Good to see you, my friend. So glad that you're here. Hitting us with a €5 super chat. JD, have you seen a €5 super chat yet in your time here? You have, okay. A €99. Well, when we say, do you say cents for euros? Like, what's euros version of cents? Is it the same word? I don't know. Probably not. I'm probably not the guy to ask that question. Christian says hi to everyone. What are the Ravens' biggest needs in the draft? Their biggest needs are as follows. Offensive line, defensive line. Those two can be interchangeable. 1A, 1B. And then I'd probably say cornerback, then wide receiver, then maybe linebacker. Those are the 5 that I would give you, my friend. But appreciate you hanging out with us. Thanks for those €5. Hope you had a great birthday, man. Really, really hope you did. I appreciate you always hanging out with us, always sending in those super chats, and just always being a really big supporter. So we appreciate you. He says, yes, it is cents. There we go. It's good to know. Ooh, good question by Attendance Squad. I don't know about the end of this month, but I do know for a fact it will be in the next 4 weeks, okay? I can pretty much guarantee you that. All righty. We knocked out our news and rumors for today, so it is time to get into my mock draft 3.0. Cannot believe we've already done 3 of these things. We got about what? How many weeks to the NFL draft? How many weeks until April 23? 10 weeks, 1 day. So we got a lot more of these things. We got about 9, 10 more of these, okay? So, but so far I will say this. This one might be one of my favorites. All right, JD, ready to roll? Let's do it. My mock draft coming up right now. It is Sunday, Ravens fans, and you know exactly what that means. It is time for my mock draft 3.0. Today, my third mock draft of this offseason, this time with a round one trade. Will it be a trade up? Will it be a trade back? Well, just hold tight for about, I don't know, probably one more minute, and you'll wait and find out. Before we get into the trade, into the draft, make sure if you guys have not yet, you are hitting that thumbs up button and liking today's video. I would be incredibly appreciative of that. Can we set the record on this one for most likes in a mock draft yet? 262 is the record with the first one. Took a little bit of a step back in the second. Let's get that number up to 300 a day. Again, does not cost you a dime. Helps us out a ton. We would really, really appreciate it. So if we know Eric DeCosta, right, we know that he most likely will be open to a trade down. Eric DeCosta has talked about his draft strategy a lot in his time in Baltimore. He looks at it like a dartboard. He looks at it kind of like a thing that, hey, you're either lucky or not. And he likes to think the more throws you have at a dartboard, the better chance you have of hitting a bullseye. So if they get to 14 and nobody's there that they're like, okay, we have to get this player and we have to do it right now, would not be shocked in the slightest if Eric DeCosta and the Baltimore Ravens decided to move back, pick up some extra draft capital, and then go throughout their day and just see how the board falls to them. So that's what we're doing in today's draft trade. And we're going to do a little Jim Harbaugh, Jesse Minter, old head coach, defensive coordinator trade, because you will send the Los Angeles Chargers your 14th overall pick, but in return, you get their first-round pick at 22, so you move back 8 spots, but you pick up an additional second-rounder, and I went ahead and gave us some insurance. How about throwing a third-rounder for 2027? And the reason you're cool to do this is because there's a decent chance that some really good players fall to 22, just like Caden McDonald, which is where we are going with our first-round selection, defensive tackle out of Ohio State, the Ohio State University, and there is a lot to like about this player. I think that automatically the first thing that jumps out when you think about him, when you look at him, is his ability, like I said, to defend the run. 65 tackles in 14 games, 9 of those for loss, 3 sacks, 10 pressures, and 1 pass breakup as well. Look, your pass rush definitely needs help. So I can see everybody pounding the table, wanting a defensive end, wanting an edge rusher, not wanting an interior defensive lineman like Caden McDonald. I get that. But he is a day one starter, ladies and gentlemen. He is one of those guys that's going to be able to come into that room and be on the field come early September. Right now, we don't know what's going on with Dante Madubuike. We hope via his social media over the last couple of weeks that things are getting positive. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Travis Jones, but those guys rotate so much throughout a game. You need as many cats in there as you can that you have confidence in. And last year, like outside of Travis Jones, who on the interior did you have confidence in? John Jenkins? Like, Caden McDonald is going to be a star in this league, okay? And I'm more than happy getting an extra second, a third for next season, and just falling into a player like him. Seems like that's something Baltimore does really, really well when it comes to the NFL draft. What's your one-word reaction to the Ravens selecting Caden McDonald at 22? Let me know down below in the comment section. I think it's solid, okay? That's my pick, and of the word. I want to hear y'all's word down below. Round 2, 45. This is your original selection, or your original pick, you on the 45th overall pick. You're going to take Eli Stowers, the tight end out of Vanderbilt. A little bit spicy, but I'll explain my reasoning why in just a second. 769 yards for the tight end this past season, 12.4 yards a catch, 4 touchdowns, 4 drops. Like to see that go down just a little bit, but nothing absolutely crazy for as physical a position as a tight end is. Isaiah Likely is hitting free agency. And when you signed Mark Andrews in the middle of the season, what that told me was Isaiah Likely most likely is not going to become a Raven again because he's going to hit the open market, and I'm sure you would want him back, but there's going to be a lot of teams that see the promise in him, that see his ability to be a tight end one in this league, and they're going to be able to outbid you. Charlie Kolar, also a free agent this year. And what we know about Declan Doyle is he's a guy who likes to use tight ends a lot. Think about Cole Kmet and Colston Loveland this last year for the Chicago Bears. Those dudes were massive for that offense. A lot of 12 personnel. Hell, even when they're in I formation or power formation, they got a tight end in there instead of a fullback because guys like Declan Doyle and Ben Johnson like to have athletes in there who could do something if they get the ball in their hands. Eli Stowers is exactly that. I really like this player, and he could be that guy that takes over for Mark Andrews throughout this season and then when his career ends up winding down. I think we all agree it was a mistake to extend Mark Andrews, but they did it. So that's just kind of what we got to deal with. Number 3, Chase Basantis, offensive guard out of A&M. This isn't my first time, I think, picking Basantis in a mock draft, but that's just because at the value of 55, I really like this selection. I really like the player. Almost 800 snaps this last year for the Aggies, 70.7 pass blocking grade, 62.7 run blocking grade, only 1 sack allowed. The big thing for Chase is you got to get those penalties down. As you see, he had 8 penalties this last year. That is a massive red flag. But really solid anchor in pass protection, and he does a really good job at washing the line of scrimmage in his run blocking. The big question mark with him is just the way that Klein schemed up the Texas A&M offense this last year. He hasn't been asked to play in space a ton. And I think that's what we got so frustrated with last year with Andrew Voorhees and Daniel Faalele was their lack of an ability to do that. But for where you're getting him, this might be one of the best value picks for an offensive guard in the draft. This is a guy that I would not be surprised if by the time the draft day comes around, he's an early second rounder after what he does at the combine and people get a little bit more time to talk to him and watch that tape. Round 3, you're going to go offense again. I get it. Heavy offense. I'll explain why in a second. And you're going to get wide receiver Zack Grossi. Okay? I did not want to go back to the offensive side of the football at pick number 80. And then I saw Zachariah Branch fall to pick number 80, and I could not pass him up. 14 games played for the Georgia Bulldogs, 811 yards, 6 touchdowns. Getting him in the 3rd round, I think, is an absolute steal because this is a dude that's absolutely electric when he's got the football in his hands. It's just he played for Mike Bobo, who calls the offensive plays at Georgia, and Gunnar Stockton, who was their quarterback. Gunnar Stockton isn't known for his ability to throw the football. Gunnar Stockton's known for running, being tough, and driving an old red truck. That's it. If Zachariah Branch was in an offense like, an Indiana, an offense like an Ohio State, like a Tennessee, some of the best offenses in the country, this is a guy I promise you that would be a first rounder. What I don't love about him, though, maybe the reason he's fallen to 3rd is the size, okay? And I don't necessarily think that, if you're a 5'10" wide receiver, you can't make it in the National Football League. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying you've already got Zay Flowers on that roster, as your wide receiver 1. He's 5'8". Wallace and Wester, those are small guys as well. It's not like Rashad Bateman's absolutely a massive dude either, but you need bodies in the wide receiver. You need guys that you can count on, that you can have confidence in when they get the ball in their hands, and I think Zachariah Branch is exactly that. When do you think the Ravens should draft wide receiver? Let me know your answer down below in the comment section. And next, don't worry, we're going to go back to the defensive side of the football. This time, we're going to go defensive line. Out of Western Michigan, Nadame Tucker, edge rusher with the 115th overall selection. I really like this player. The more tape that I've watched over the last couple of days, the more I have fallen in love. 14.5 sacks, 51 pressures, overall PFF grade of 90.6, pass rush grade of 92.7, win percentage versus a true pass set, 40.8%, first in college football. I get it's a very PFF stat, but still impressive nonetheless. This was a little bit risky, just given the talent that he played at the collegiate level. Western Michigan, are they in the MAC, gentlemen? I believe they are. Western Michigan, playing in the MAC. It's not, against the stiffest competition, stiffest of offensive lines, but still, man, anytime you see that amount of production, that just pure ability to rush the passer, that's going to catch my eye. You know what should catch your eye? Our Mentor is Coming merch. Right now, you can go to chatsports.com/mentor and get yours today. We got the hoodies, we've got the T-shirts, And if you want both, you could save $10 on your order as well. I put that link in the comments and description of today's video. So make sure you check it out and get yourself some before it is all gone. It is the first merch we've ever done on this channel. Okay, so if you want to be a part of Ravens Rundown history, make sure to snag yours as well. If you are excited about the new era of the Baltimore Ravens under head coach Jesse Minter, make sure to get yourself some as well. And that way, when you wear it around and people ask you where you got the t-shirt, you can brag on it, say, hey, look, my favorite YouTube channel. If you love the Baltimore Ravens, you'll love them. You know what? We got each other covered. Okay, chatsports.com/Minter. Get yours today. Round 5. You might not like this. I'm going back to the wide receiver room with Jacoby Lane. Look, I'm going to talk about Jacoby Lane in a similar light as how I talked about Zachariah Branch. If that dude falls to you in the 5th round, that's going to be a hard guy to pass up. And what I like about Jacoby Lane a lot is he's a different kind of receiver. This dude's 6'4", okay? Lamar Jackson hasn't had many of those on his team. And I thought he was obviously statistically not as good as Mekhi Lemon, but like he had just as many flashy plays in 2025. 4 touchdowns, almost 750 yards, 15.2 yards a catch. And I honestly believe that in this mock draft so far, through 5 rounds, this is the best pick I've got. I think maybe in all 3 of my mock drafts, getting Jacoby Lane in the 5th round for the Baltimore Ravens, the fit of all those things, this is the best pick I've got. I just got to pat myself on the back for a half second. To round out round 5, you got a few more selections. We took Max Llewellyn, edge rusher out of Iowa. This guy, I think, is a really underrated edge rusher just because of how good he is at playing the run as well. A lot of guys don't really have that ability. They're kind of, I don't want to say one-trick ponies, but really all they do is, be able to get to the passer. This guy can do both. This guy's a really, really strong anchor against the run. He's big. He's physical. Like, he is so strong. He's one of those dudes that puts your hands on you, you're not going to be able to shed him. If he puts his hands on you with a little bit of a Reggie White hump move, I promise you, your left tackle or right tackle is going to be flying across the screen. Also, when it comes to defensive or offensive linemen, this might be a little bit biased, but going the way of the Iowa Hawkeyes is never really that bad of an idea. I think you add another offensive lineman in the 5th round. Give me Jaden Roberts out of Alabama. And then cornerback Tacario Davis in the 5th as well. By the time I got here to get Tacario Davis, I kind of was like, maybe I should have taken a cornerback a little bit earlier because I do believe it is a top need. But I do think Tacario Davis is a really good player. You also got to remind yourself that a guy like Robert Longerbeam didn't play this entire last year. He's a cornerback, a young guy you're really, really excited about. He just had a lot of injuries to the young guys in that room, which is unfortunate because they didn't get to develop as much as you maybe would have hoped, but you also kind of forget those guys are there in the room in the first place. In the 7th we go, Eric O'Neal, edge rusher out of Rutgers with the 249th overall pick. Just add more competition. It's a really, really small room as we currently sit before free agency. I mean, it's Adisa Isaac, Mike Green, and Tavius Robinson. That's it. And then we're going to round things out with a linebacker all the way from Utah. Go ahead and give me Lander Barton, number 8, big-bodied linebacker. What I don't love about Lander is I don't want to say lack of athleticism, but like he's not the best in pass coverage. He's not the fastest, but he's one of those guys that, look, he's not going to miss a tackle when it gets to him, okay? So that is my last selection. That is my 3rd mock draft. We start off with a bang. Get Caden McDonald all the way to Eric O'Neal. We actually round things out with Lander Barton in the 7th. Grade this mock draft for me in the comments, A, B, C, D, or F. And we're going to get on out of here. Appreciate you guys for hanging out with us. Make sure you are following on socials. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Daily Ravens videos right here. Don't worry about the holiday tomorrow. We got you another video, so we'll see you then. All righty. 2 segments up, 2 segments down, 2 segments ready to roll. Coming up next is our Ravens rundown live mailbag. I feel like question-wise, JD, I don't think we need any more. Yeah, I don't think so either. So if you want to, we can just go straight into it because we've already had so many people ask some great questions. If you guys want to, maybe blow us away with a question late and get yourself a chance to get into it, go ahead and use hashtag Ravens in the chat or super chat to guarantee yourself a spot on the mailbag. But, we've got a ton, okay? Ton of really, really good ones. Alex BQ says B-. B Airman says B+. Donovan says F. Kidding, Joey, with a hug emoji. Thank you for that. Donovan does say a B+. Appreciate you for, taking that F grade away and giving me and blessing me with a B+. Hey, also real quick, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up button and like today's video. We're at 63 likes. I would like to be at 85. I get it. It is a big, big ask, but I would like to be 85 by the time we are out of this cut that we are about to do, okay? So the challenge is on you, but I need you guys to help me out. All right, JD. Let's get rolling with our final segment on today's show. Are you ready to go, my friend? Oh, no. Yeah, you do have two more. So you're used to only doing three. Okay, second to last one. Y'all don't go anywhere. We got our next segment. Ravens going all in, plus a little bit of mailbag coming up now. Ladies and gentlemen, it really feels like the Baltimore Ravens are going all in for the 2026 season. They are going all in this new era of Jesse Minter football in Baltimore. Because the way that they have just totally overhauled their coaching staff, made a ton of new moves, brought a ton of new and young talented coaches in the building, to me, it's been really, really telling. Because it feels like Baltimore is ready to transition into this new era of the game. And I think that was the thing that was kind of frustrating towards the end of time with John Harbaugh as your head coach, is that he kind of refused to transition into a new era. I don't want to say he was stuck in his ways, but he was a guy that always had to rely on other coaches to do his coordinating for him because he wasn't an X's and O's. He was more of a CEO type coach. And so it was hard for him to make those transitions. And additionally, it was hard for him to make those transitions because at the end of the day, 63 years old, been in this league a very, very long time. And I love the fact that they are transitioning to a younger age of a coaching staff. I mean, your head coach was just 63, now he's 42. Defensive coordinator, did get 12 years older. Offensive coordinator, 60 years old. I mean, you had a bunch of geese jobs on that coaching staff last year. You go all the way down to 29 years old with Declan Doyle. Your average age last year, 51 years old. Average age this year, 13 years younger at 38.66. Oldest guy of your head coach, defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator is 45 with Anthony Weaver. And I don't know about you guys, but at least to me, it feels like there's a youth movement in the National Football League. Like if you think of all the best head coaches across football, a lot of those guys are really young. Like, of course, you've got your Andy Reeds and your Sean Paytons up at the top. But, other than that, it's Sean McVay, it's Kyle Shanahan, it's Mike McDonald. It's a lot of those younger guys who have had really, really impressive careers as head coaches so far. And you look back to last year. It proves it's a good idea to maybe go a little bit younger. Right? Ben Johnson, 39. Guess what? They're the number 2 seed. Pete Carroll, 74. Guess what? He doesn't have a job right now. He's in Cancun. Mike Vrabel, 50. He doesn't count. Everybody knew Mike Vrabel was a slam dunk. Aaron Glenn, 53. That's not really going so well in New York. Liam Cohen, 40 years old. They were the number 2 seed in the AFC. Brian Schottenheimer, 52. They've been fine. Kellen Moore, 37. Been doing a lot more things with the New Orleans Saints in year one than I think a lot of people thought he might. The year before that, the Chargers went ahead and got Jim Harbaugh, 60. Now, Jerome Mayo did not really work out at 38. Neither did Brian Callahan at 40 or Antonio Pierce at 45. But, you go Mike McDonald, 37. Dave Canales at 43. This is just kind of to show you the way that things have been moving when it comes to your head coaches. And additionally, the thing that it feels like Baltimore is kind of pushing all the chips in and going all in on is you're switching up your offensive and defensive philosophies to things that are proving to be a little bit more beneficial in the National Football League, things that are working for other teams and other coaches across the NFL. Like, you got Declan Doyle in the building now. He is a Ben Johnson and Shawn Payton disciple. So in my mind, he'll kind of combine McVay-style coaching with Shawn Payton because of his influences from there, and Ben Johnson has a little bit of influences from Shawn Payton as well, but also some Sean McVay too. It'll be a nice little mixture of both things. And the funny thing is that was Shawn Payton, who was in the AFC Championship game, and who am I trying to say? Sean McVay was in the NFC Championship game. Brought Jesse Minter in here, the Mike Macdonald type defense, right? New philosophy. I guess an old philosophy, because it was the one that Mike Macdonald had here in 2023 that made this Ravens defense the best in the league then and just won the Seattle Seahawks the Super Bowl. I think another cool thing is the fact that they're all in on younger college coaches filling out a lot of this staff, especially on the defensive side of the ball, which is the side that I would want them to fill out younger coaches for, because Jesse Minter's run the whole thing. Just go get a bunch of guys that you believe are going to be able to develop talent in the National Football League. You brought in Lou Esposito from Michigan, defensive line coach. Harlan Bauer, offensive outside linebacker coach from Duke. Mike Mickens, defensive backs coach, pass game coordinator from Notre Dame. PJ Volker, safeties coach from Navy. Like, my one reservation about Minter was that he'd been here with Harbaugh before. And, I was kind of worried about maybe not a full changing of the guard. But, man, everything I've seen from the first 3.5 weeks of this new regime, he is all in, shaking things up in a completely new way that I think is going to benefit this team in 2026. Are you excited about this new coaching staff? If you are, do me one big favor. Hit that thumbs up button and like today's video. For the last half of today's show, we're going to dip into the mailbag from our Ravens live mailbag. We got a ton of questions to get into from the best Ravens fans across the country. Hey, JD, let's start with those super chats. I just threw that in the script. Let's go ahead and start with Yeecaw. Great, I love this one. Hey, Joey, is there someone in the draft that you don't want that will make you flip tables if they do draft him? That's a great question, Yeecaw. So if you guys watched me last year for any amount of time, Shamar Stewart was my flip tables player last year. And I'm so happy the Baltimore Ravens didn't draft him. And I'm so happy that the Cincinnati Bengals were the team that ended up doing so, because I knew at the time it was going to be a massive, massive mistake. One of my least favorite things about the NFL draft is we watch these players play college football, right? We watch them play football, which is the same sport we play in the National Football League, right? Makes sense. But then for some reason, we want to abandon everything they've done production-wise over the last 3 seasons, just because they can run fast, jump high, throw hard, shuttle well, all in spandex. To me, when it comes to the NFL draft, I like production over projection a lot. Now, can projection hit every now and then? Yeah, for sure, it can. But the bust rate is so much higher. So, to answer your question, Peter Woods right now is that guy for me, okay? I think he's fallen down draft boards. When we looked at draft boards about 2 months ago, he was very, very high. He's being mocked to Baltimore in a couple of mock drafts back in December. I would not be very happy with that. I don't think Peter Woods is going to be that great of a player in the NFL. Christian Malley, what are the biggest draft needs for the Ravens? That's a great question, Christian. I think my 3 biggest draft needs for the Ravens are as follows: offensive line and defensive line. I think that's 1A and 1B. However, with defensive line, it's interior and edge rusher. So it's both of those. I think cornerbacks in there as well. Wide receivers in there as well. I think linebacker. All right, I know I said I'd give you 3, and I ended up giving you 5 or 6. But I think that just shows you that, yeah, you got a lot of really good players on this roster, but there still are some holes to fill. But offensive line, defensive line, in my opinion, that is 1A, that is 1B. That is what I want the Ravens to address in rounds 2 and 3, or 1 and 2 in the NFL draft. They can address them in either order. We got more questions coming up in a second, but I got to give a big shout out to our friends over at Ethos, the sponsor of today's show. And as you know, my wife Kennedy and I got married almost 2 years ago. And I imagine we'll buy a house, maybe start having kids sometime soon. And if something were to happen to me, the last thing I want the people I love to worry about is being able to pay the bills. So I trust Ethos to keep them protected. After watching someone close to me go through loss, I saw how quickly grief can turn into financial stress. That experience changed how I think about protecting my family. Life insurance isn't about expecting the worst, but it's about making sure the people you love are supported no matter what. That's why I recommend life insurance through Ethos. Ethos makes getting life insurance fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. There's no medical exam. Just answer a few simple health questions. You can get up to $3 million in coverage. Some policies are as low as $30 a month. Ethos has 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot with over 3,000 reviews. So help protect your family with life insurance through Ethos. Get your instant free quote at ethos.com/NFL Daily. That's ethos.com/NFL Daily. Application times and rates may vary. Nintendo Master with a spicy one. Should the Ravens trade for Max Crosby? We've actually talked Max Crosby trade a good bit on this channel over the last couple of weeks. I think they should. I think that is one way to prove to me that, hey, you are going all in this season. I think Max Crosby is what this team is missing from a production standpoint. I think more importantly, Max Crosby is what this team is missing from a leadership and an attitude standpoint. My only thing is there's been reports about him, not wanting to be a Raider anymore. There's been reports about him still wanting to be a Raider, and he did show up at Clint Kubiak's opening press conference on Tuesday, so take that with what you will. Lisa Frankel up next. I predict Jesse Minter's Coach of the Year. What say you, Joey? That is a great, great prediction. I'm trying to think of the other coaches that got hired that I would favor over him. I don't think it's going to be Harbaugh with the Giants. I don't think it's going to be McCarthy with the Steelers. I don't think it's going to be LaFleur with the Cardinals. Yeah, I don't hate it. Maybe Clint Kubiak and Fernando Mendoza do some impressive things in Las Vegas, but I actually don't really see that happening. Let me see. NFL, I don't think Joe Brady's going to do very well with the Bills. I don't think Todd Monken's going to do that great with the Browns. Jeff Hafley might do fine with the Dolphins. Ooh, it's going to be Robert Saleh or Jesse Minter. You could stamp it right there. Kimberly Harmon, you think we signed Tyler Linderbaum contract and free agent? I hope we re-sign Tyler Linderbaum because if he makes it to free agency, you will get outbid. That's why, in my opinion, it is very, very important for you to get that done as quickly as you can. War for Cheesecake says trade back and take TJ Parker. I don't hate that. Like we talked about on my mock draft, or will be talking about on my mock draft tomorrow, I would not be surprised if this team makes a trade back in the NFL draft. That would be the least surprising thing Eric DeCosta would do. TJ Parker, edge rush out of Clemson. I haven't looked into his tape too much yet. It depends where you trade back to. If you trade back to the early 20s, late teens, I think that might still be a little bit early. But if you trade back to 23, 24, he's still there, man. I could be convinced. Last question of the episode. Would you say Lamar gets extended by the end of this month? Ooh. End of February. You got about 2 weeks left in February. It's got to be before March 11th. I'll say no. I'm going to call my shot. Okay? I'm calling my shot. It is Saturday, February 14th, Valentine's Day. Lamar Jackson will sign his extension on March 5th. Book it. That's going to do it for today's show. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. And make sure you guys got me followed on socials. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel as well. We'll be out with another video tomorrow. We got a mock draft. On Monday, we'll talk free agency predictions. We got you covered all weekend long, so make sure to lock us in. All righty. 3 down, 1 to go, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, there is Chan, a way that Vega falls to 14. In fact, I think he will fall to 14. I think he'll be available to be right there. See ya, Joey, says the meme god, Ioane star. See ya, my friend. Jonathan Diaz. With Anthony Weaver being our DC, potential players like Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb coming to Baltimore. Ooh, I did not even think about that. That's a great question. Yeah, I could see that happening. I really, really could. It's a really, really good thing. Honestly, Jonathan, you might be my executive producer tomorrow or Friday. We might hit that on a video. It's a great, great idea. What do you think the Ravens need to prove during the regular season, if anything? It's hard to say. I mean, it's going to be a brand new coaching staff, so it's going to be, I can't really answer that question. All righty, our last segment coming up, free agency predictions from our friends at Fox Sports. JD, we ready to roll, my friend? Let's do it. That's coming at you right now. What's going on, Ravens fans? Welcome into the Baltimore Ravens Rundown. Happy President's Day to each and every one of you. On today's show, I'm going to give you the free agency predictions from our friends over at Fox Sports. They listed the top 100 free agents and then predicted where they will be going or maybe where they will be re-signing to. Before we give you anything that has to do with the Baltimore Ravens on this list, I do got to tell you, if you love Jesse Minter already, if you're excited about the new era of Baltimore Ravens football, now is a perfect time to go to chatsports.com/Minter to get your Minter is Coming hoodies and t-shirts. They are live right now on the site. These things are flying off the shelves. I don't know how much longer we will be in stock, okay? So if you're thinking about doing it, just go ahead and do it. That way you don't miss out on the opportunity, okay? Chatsports.com/Minter. Just tell your wife, your friend, whoever, say, hey, man, I'm celebrating President's Day this way, okay? I'm sure they'll be able to take that excuse. If you get both the t-shirt and the hoodie, $10 off as well. That link is in the comments and description of today's video. Minter is coming. Hoodies and t-shirts for sale right now. The Baltimore Ravens. Let's talk about what they might be doing in free agency, make predictions on where they sign. Let's talk about some Ravens predicted signings. The first one might be the one we are able to call the most. How about Olaivavega Ioane making a return to Baltimore just under a year away from when he was traded to the Los Angeles Chargers, because Fox Sports' prediction is that Ioane signs with the Baltimore Ravens. And look, this one I would be all for. This is one we've actually talked about a while. 2 days after the Ravens hired Jesse Minter, we made a video that said 5 Los Angeles Chargers that could be following Jesse Minter to Baltimore. Olaivavega Ioane was like number 1 on that list. And I think you might have a sour taste in your mouth about Olaivavega Ioane because of the lack of production he had in Baltimore. And you might be saying, Joey, why would we even want him back? I mean, he didn't even get a sack in 5 games. Well, look what he did when he paired up with Jesse Minter. 7.5 sacks in 12 games. And then you add in that playoff game, he had 3 sacks and a forced fumble. So it was not an Olaivavega Ioane problem. It was a Zach Orr problem, ladies and gentlemen. And that's why I'd be all about this signing. Because him coming back to Baltimore, it would be different. It would be new this time because he would still be with Jesse Minter, which is where he has played so far in his career, his best football. And it is not even close. 13 games played. 10.5 sacks. Sign me up for that right now. Hey, speaking of free agency, we'll be live day 1 of it. So make sure you subscribe, turn on those notifications as well. So that way you guys can hang out with us. We're going to have a lot of fun just breaking down all the free agent signings. We always got you covered right here on the Ravens Rundown. So lock us in. Tyler Linderbaum. Fox Sports' prediction for the Ravens center is that he will be signing with the New York Giants. This is not the first time and will not be the last time that the Giants are linked to Tyler Linderbaum. We actually discussed this from about 3 weeks ago. Connor Hughes was the one who tweeted it out. That from what I'm told, expect the Giants to be aggressive in targeting ex-Ravens and free agency. Harbaugh wants people who know his way to carry out his message in the locker room. Tyler Linderbaum would be one to keep an eye on. Now, I am of the belief that the Ravens need to lock him down. Okay? I think you're going to go into 2026 with a question at right guard, a question at left guard. I don't really want to have a question at center either. I get it. He's going to be expensive. Okay? Like, if you just extend Lamar Jackson, you open up $40 million in cap space. But if you let him hit free agency, like, don't do that. If it gets to March 11th and you have not made the move yet, it's not going to happen. You will get outbid by other teams because they're going to see Tyler Linderbaum and they're going to drive up that price past where you are comfortable going. Isaiah Likely, another Ravens free agent. Fox Sports predicts that he signs with the Cleveland Browns. If you did not know, David Njoku announced just about a week ago, almost, this last Tuesday, that he will not be returning to the Cleveland Browns. The tight end has spent his career there and is a really, really intriguing player, but he does not want to be a Cleveland Brown anymore, and really, can you blame him? Now, Todd Monken is Cleveland's new head coach. So there is that obvious connection between Todd Monken and Isaiah Likely. There's an obvious need of the tight end position with Cleveland. So honestly, it makes a ton of sense. Now, when it comes to Isaiah Likely, I think I have two thoughts on that. I think we could probably agree on two things. Number one, it was a mistake extending Mark Andrews so early. There was not a tight end that had less yards after catch in the NFL than Mark Andrews did in 2025. Yet he got a contract extension. I didn't agree with it. But I think we could also agree that I don't know if Likely earned a big contract to stay in Baltimore. Like, that's all that we've been wanting and waiting for, especially in 2025. It's like, hey, man, this is your chance. This is your opportunity. This is a perfect time. You and Mark Andrews, both free agents in the same season. Go take away the tight end one spot for him. Go cement yourself as the tight end one for the Baltimore Ravens. And he didn't do it, right? He fumbled the ball at the back of the end zone Thanksgiving against the Bengals. Couldn't come down with a catch week 14 against the Steelers. Sure, he made that awesome fourth down catch against Pittsburgh in week 18, but other than that, it was very, very rare for Isaiah Likely to be making plays and making big plays at that. Now, I'm not saying Mark Andrews was either, but they already made their bed with Mark. They already extended him. So I don't know if I see Isaiah Likely being extended as well. And additionally, Declan Doyle likes tight ends that are really good blockers, and Likely isn't necessarily that. Choose one of those two to keep down below in the comments. Give me a TL for Tyler Linderbaum or an IL for Isaiah Likely. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Draymond Jones, you added him in during the trade deadline via the Tennessee Titans. Where does he go next? Well, apparently they believe that he signs with the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle's got a decent bit of edge rushers that will be free agents as well. They're going to try to supplement that with the addition of Draymond Jones. Now, I'd love to keep Draymond Jones. I actually really like Draymond Jones. Like, when you look back to this year, he's really the only edge rusher that was able to get consistent pressure on the quarterback. Now, it wasn't anything like crazy impressive, but again, like in the same breath that we talked about Odafe Oweh at the very beginning of this episode, he was in that same Zack Grossi defense, which was not really helping anybody. I'd love to see what Draymond Jones would do with Jesse Minter as his head coach and Anthony Weaver as his defensive line coach. The other reason you might want to just re-sign Draymond Jones is because this is your current edge rusher. Ajabo's a free agent. Van Noy's a free agent. Draymond's a free agent. You got Mike Green, Adisa Isaac, and Tavius Robinson. Now, I do believe you add some players in the draft, but look, if you can get Jones for the right price, man, I think you should keep him in Baltimore. I liked a lot about his game. I think he popped multiple times during the end of the season. Last up is Aloy Gilman. Fox Sports ranks him as the 99th best free agent, and they predict that he signs with the Saints. Brandon Staley is their defensive coordinator, was his former head coach when he was with the Los Angeles Chargers. But with that being said, I wouldn't be shocked if he's kept. This is one of those things that, I could see a reality with both things happening. I could see a reality where Jesse Minter, his former defensive coordinator, says, hey, look, we were just together in L.A. Sure, we traded you away, but I like you. I want to put you in this defense. But I also see a world where he would rather reunite with Brandon Staley and not with the defensive coordinator that probably had a little bit of a hand in dealing him for Odafe Oweh back in early October. So whatever happens with Gilman, it would be one of those things where I'd be like, okay, yeah, I kind of saw that coming. Name a free agent you want the Ravens to sign down below in the comment section. If I had to choose one free agent right now, I think I would choose Jalen Phillips. I think. Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, George Pickens would have been awesome, but, you need offensive line and any defensive line as well. That's going to do it for today's show. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. Make sure you guys got me followed on socials. Make sure, additionally, you are subscribed to the channel. We give you daily Ravens content right here on the Ravens Rundown, whether it is free agency rumors, mock drafts, like we did yesterday. Mailbags where you guys get a chance to get on the show like we did on Saturday. Coaching, news, rumors, like anything that you could ever want, we've got right here. So make sure to lock us in, subscribe, make sure those bells are turned on so that way every time we post a video, you guys can be notified as well. Appreciate you guys for spending your holiday with us. We'll see you again tomorrow. All righty, ladies and gentlemen, 4 up, 4 down, and that is going to do it for today's show. Make sure you guys are hitting that thumbs up button. 2 more likes away from 80 likes. Big shout out to producer JD, executive producer Parker for helping put all this together. Really appreciate them. All right, boys, y'all ready to get out of here? Sweetie. We'll be live next Wednesday. So I'll see you guys then. We'll have videos throughout the rest of this week, into the weekend as well. Always appreciate the flock for hanging out with us. Y'all have a great rest of your day. For producer JD, producer Parker, my name's Joey Petersen. God bless.